Beginning development as an expansion for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Mirage takes us to Baghdad as it tells the story of Basim. Whether you've seen his story arc in Valhalla or not, you can be expected to enjoy a roughly 14-hour or so long adventure in this more directed and old-school style Assassin's Creed adventure. There is no leveling. Nearly every enemy can be taken down with a stealth kill. Is it the return to the series' roots that so many loud internet voices had been clamoring for? No, not really, but I think that's a good thing. Let's get into why in the XboxEra review of Assassin's Creed Mirage. The game begins with you living the life of the thief Basim in 861 Baghdad, Iraq. As tends to go in this story, your whole world gets turned upside down and you find yourself brought into the Hidden Ones, later to be renamed the Assassins. Basim has led a terrible life filled with nightmares of a jinni haunting him in his sleep. The best medicine for this is, of course, murdering a large number of wicked people. I beat the campaign in those roughly 14 hours while dipping my toes into the various side content on offer. I wouldn't be surprised if a 100% run of Mirage was no more than 25 hours, which I kinda think is this game's biggest strength. The narrative is solid if predictable. Enemy and ally alike felt well-rounded enough, though most weren't particularly deep. The game started out as an expansion and it's clear in the scope and scale of pretty much everything. For those who felt overwhelmed by the incredible length of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, this game is what you have been after. The majority of it takes place in a single, decently large map. There's no grinding to be found either. Whereas previous Assassin's Creed titles have become more and more RPG-like with their leveling and gameplay styles, Mirage has no experience points or truly gear power levels. Instead, your skill points, which are limited to 3 small trees and assassin rank, are tied to main story progression. There are multiple gear and weapon types to use, each with 3 ranks. These ranks slightly raise the damage done on weapons and empower the native perk on each piece. The version of the game we were given had a set I ended up using most of my playthrough simply because of how cool the weapons look. They didn't do more damage. Instead, they have their own unique passive that I could level up to be slightly more effective. You have an armor slot, main hand weapon, dagger, and amulet slots for gear. There's also a cosmetic slot for armor that overrides the look of what you have equipped without changing its passive buff. I don't believe amulets do anything outside of look cool, and the simplistic nature of it all fit the game and what I wanted out of it perfectly. As a smaller scoped AC title, Mirage has an MSRP of $50 US. I enjoyed my time with it. As someone who has seen the entire story of every Assassin's Creed game, including Valhalla, it added a bit of depth to one of the game's most important characters. I do think there's a fair amount that will be missed for those who don't know exactly what happened in Valhalla, so either before or after playing this one, I do suggest finding one of the many great breakdown videos about Basim on YouTube. From the music to the graphics and gameplay, every part of this game is a mix of okay and really good. None of it ever fell completely flat for me, and none of it ever felt, truly great. This is not the callback to Assassin's Creed, the original, that many had hoped for, which I also kind of think is a good thing. For all the faults of the modern titles with their scope creep, they play really well. Mirage keeps up that modern control feeling while dialing back the RPG grind elements that did hit really hard, especially in the last couple of entries. You can once again stealth kill all but a few of the toughest enemies, alongside every single major target. And the city of Baghdad has some very light puzzle elements mixed in, with the biggest changes being how you work through your quests. Investigations are their name now, and you will be doing a ton of them as you track down the Order, later renamed the Templars. Most of these are linear in nature, with one section where you can choose which of the 3 paths you'd like to take first. There are no choices to make outside of how you approach a fight, and the ability to easily assassinate all enemies makes the game a hell of a lot easier. You will be able to unlock various tools, including a throwing knife that can one-shot any non-armored foe in the head, smoke bombs that break line of sight and let you immediately start assassinating anyone caught up in them, and a few more. It's a really fun system tied again to the quick and easy skill point system. To get the 3 materials you'll need to upgrade those tools, you'll have to loot a lot of chests and pickpocket the unwitting citizens around you. Picking pockets is a short timing-based minigame having you press Y at the correct time as a small diamond closes in slow motion on the screen. Combat is also simplified and a lot easier as well. Basim uses a sword and dagger combo. These attacks are on the right bumper while a dodge is on X. They both use a stamina system which is pretty quick to run out and kind of takes a little while to regenerate. The main ability you'll want to master is the incredibly powerful and very generous timing window having Parry, which is on your left bumper. A parried opponent can often be instantly killed, with tougher variants requiring a bit of health loss before becoming that vulnerable. And the enemy AI is pretty dumb and is incredibly easy to lose line of sight and drop all aggro at pretty much all times. Like the rest of the game, I found the combat and even exploration really good when they're good, but never really great. That's matched by the graphics on Series X, where the game looks fantastic in quality mode and decent in performance. I am a sucker for a high frame rate, but I gave it up because the game just looked so much better while running at 30. In the latter part of my playthrough, I was able to get access on PC as well thanks to Ubisoft PR, and the Ubisoft Connect account system made sure my save was ready for me there. And the game is stunning on PC. I was running at 4K 60 on my 5800X and 7900 XTX AMD Team Red setup. Some character models still look a little bit off, mostly some of the NPC crowd ones, but the main characters look great, the art design is stunning, and it is matched by mostly excellent animations. And the music in the game keeps up the series' very high bar for quality. In a year of awesome soundtracks, this was probably one of my favorites, which also tends to happen for Assassin's Creed games with me. The writing and voice acting were stellar, especially the job done by the actor voicing Basim's master. The surround mix using both Atmos and DTS:X on both console and PC was flawless, helping me know where enemies were just by the sound I could hear while I snuck around the palaces looking to take out their leader. Bug-wise, the only major issues I really ran into were typical ones for Assassin's Creed, which were pathing issues. For both Basim and the NPCs, the game wasn't always great about people going where they should. The parkour mostly worked well, with issues coming with some of the interactables. Most of the time I went to use a lift by pressing A, Basim would just ignore it and start climbing the wall next to it. And NPC pathing found human and animals alike all over the damn place, with some crazy times of people just flying 20 feet if I got too close on my mount. I had one hard crash on PC and no stability issues on console at all. Wrapping things up, Assassin's Creed Mirage is a solid entry in the release-filled series. Featuring a far shorter campaign than its previous titles, it sacrifices value in hours for valuable hours. Mirage is a tight package that any Assassin's Creed fan, new or old, will enjoy.